Hello everyone, welcome to Story Vault. A crying mother, a baby, and my seat. The seat that wasn't mine anymore. I travel often for work, and over the years I had grown tired of cramped seats and endless hours pressed between strangers. When I finally reached a point where I could afford it, I began rewarding myself with better seats, aisle spots with extra legroom, chosen carefully and deliberately. Last week, on a 5-hour flight that was supposed to set the tone for an important trip, I walked down the narrow aisle, suitcase dragging behind me. Heart set on the small comfort I had paid for. But when I reached my row, I froze. There she was. A woman, cradling a baby against her chest, sitting in my seat. The plea. I leaned down politely, my voice calm though my pulse had quickened. "Excuse me," I said gently, "I believe you're in my seat." I expected her to move. But instead, she lifted her eyes, red-rimmed, tired, and pleading. "I was hoping you might be okay with switching," she whispered. Her hand gestured toward the back of the plane. A middle seat. Last row. Wedged by the bathrooms. A place no traveler chose willingly. For a moment, I just stood there, sympathy tugging at me. She had a baby in her arms. I knew how hard flying with children could be. But still, 5 hours in that back seat? Between strangers? With people brushing past me for the restroom every 10 minutes? My voice was firm but gentle. "I am sorry," I said. "I booked this seat specifically. I'd like to keep it." Tears and tension. Her lips trembled, her voice broke. "Please," she whispered. "You know how kids can be." And just like that, tears welled up in her eyes. The baby squirmed. The air between us thickened with unease. From across the aisle, Iman's voice cut in. "Come on, man," he said, shaking his head. "It's just a seat." But to me, it wasn't just a seat. It was 5 hours of peace I had earned, a sliver of dignity carved out in the chaos of constant travel. The whispers started soon after. Heads turned. People muttered. A spotlight seemed to burn down on me, though I had done nothing wrong. Judgment in the air. The flight attendant eventually arrived, her tone even, practiced. She asked if anyone else would be willing to swap. Eyes shifted, but silence followed. No one raised a hand. And so, she turned back to me, her smile forced. "It's your call," she said softly. The mother's tears had not stopped. The man across the aisle glared. I felt the judgment like daggers, stabbing at my back even as I sat down, in my rightful seat. The hum of the engines grew, the plane lifted, and yet the weight pressing on me did not ease. For 5 long hours, whispers and sideways glances followed me through the stale air. The heavy silence. Minutes bled into hours. The mother sniffled quietly. Her baby whimpered, then slept. I stared out the window, the clouds rolling beneath us like an endless white sea. Inside me, a storm raged. Why did I feel like the villain in a story where I had done nothing wrong? Was compassion worth the sacrifice of my comfort? Or was standing my ground an act of selfishness disguised as principle? The flight wore on, heavy with silence and unspoken words. I couldn't escape the feeling that every glance was a verdict. The unanswered question. When the wheels finally touched the runway, relief should have come. Instead, a hollow ache filled my chest. I gathered my bag, stood, and felt the eyes still burning into me. Some filled with pity for her, some with quiet contempt for me. I hadn't stolen her seat. I hadn't broken any rule. Yet the question gnawed at me, louder than the roar of the engines, sharper than the whispers of strangers. Was I wrong? I stepped off the plane, but the judgment followed. The world outside bustled as if nothing had happened, but inside me, the story replayed again and again. And I still don't know the answer.